Hey guys, welcome back to thedirtytank.com. My name is Andrew and we got a really cool fish room tour today. Today we're going to start off looking at my 110 gallon mini pond. I had this set up for about a month now, but I do need to change the filtration. Right here you can see the spout of the filter and it's currently not on, and that's because I have a solar powered pump. But I don't get a whole lot of shade. So today, POPOSOAP was kind enough to sponsor this video, and they sent me out a plug-in filter pump for your mini pond. And this thing's looking pretty cool. It comes with a fairly nice case with all the biomedia you need, along with the pump and then different types of attachments to create your fountain or your waterfall, whatever you're looking for. So before we go in the garage and take a look at all those tanks, I'm just going to set this up in the mini pond just to see how well it performs. It was pretty easy to put together, right? It's not too complicated. And it's pretty intuitive. I did had to pull out the instructions once just to verify what I'm doing, but it's pretty straightforward. The pump goes inside with all the filter media, then the attachments start hooking up through that center hole in the middle. Now it comes with several different attachments, but I like this dome attachment, which is the one I put on. That's the one I was using whenever I had the solar fountain set up, and it looked great, so I decided to use the same thing. Installation was pretty easy too. I just dropped it in the box in the water, it filled up with water, and it weighted itself down. A couple minutes of just getting it centered right, and it's ready to plug in. So the moment of truth, let's see what this thing looks like. And when I turned it on, it was very underwhelming, right? But I've used this brand in the spout before, and I know that you just need to tighten up the dome part, that piece, to create a bigger or faster dome. So that's what I did. And I settled with about this speed here. I think this is perfect. Good water movement, and it's not too loud. I'm a bigger fan of the more silent water features, but I do like that it pushes out all of the floating plants so I can really see the fish, and I think they're really going to enjoy this filter. All right guys, now we're in the garage where all the magic happens. In here is really all my breeding setups. This is where I sell a lot of fish and plants out of, and I guess we'll start all the way over here. So I have 1, 2, 3 racks, and then a couple other tanks that are just onesie twosies. But if we look over here, we start on this rack. Up top is a 40-gallon breeder, and this is my Crebensis tank. You can see I have a female Crebensis right there. The male isn't too far away. He's hiding somewhere. But in addition to that, I have a good bit of black mollies. I got a ton of them, maybe about 10, 15 of them. Oh, here's the male Crebensis right here. Gorgeous fish. These are a dwarf cichlid, and they've already had babies. I'm growing it up in another tank. We're gonna check it out here in a moment. But they are cave spawners, so they like hanging out in this coconut, one of these coconuts, and having their babies. And I think that they're on batch number 2, because I've been seeing them going into this cave here. So we'll see if that happens the next couple days to a week. Right down below it, we have a 20-gallon fish tank and a 10-gallon fish tank. In here used to be my German black rams, but I moved them to a 40-gallon. So there isn't much in here other than some endlers. So this tank is open. We have some fish in quarantine that at the end of this week will be going in this tank, some of them at least. But just a couple endlers in here at the moment. And then in this tank, we have 3 of the Crebensis. These are the suboculatus Crebensis that we have here. They're juvenile. They're real close to being almost an adult. You can kind of see them all the way in the back. But growing them out, and once they get mature, we'll probably move them to a 20-gallon or a 40-gallon. But over here we have, I don't know, what is this? 10, no, that's 8, 9 tanks on this rack. Really love this rack. So if you guys are thinking about getting a rack, get one like this. This one is super strong. Let me go behind it and show you the brand. The brand is Flexi Mounts. I don't know if you can see that. I turned off the overhead lights just so there wouldn't be any glare. but it's flexi mounts and it's a rack I got from Amazon. Really cool rack that holds over 4,000 pounds. I'm probably only utilizing like not even 2,000 pounds worth of its capacity. But up here is another 40 gallon. We don't got a ton of fish in here at the moment because we sold, gosh, there was probably like 40 fish in here at one point. But we sold them. All we have in here now, we got a single swordtail. We got a couple black rams. This is the male, absolutely stunning. We got a whole bunch of these baby plecos in here. Oh, here's the female. And they did lay eggs up here on top of this rock. So I don't see any eggs there at the moment, which means they either ate them or they hatched and now they moved them. And judging by how they're moving around, there's either some babies down here on the ground now because they keep coming back to that spot, or they ate the babies. I'm not entirely sure, but they do hang around this spot down here. It's really hard to get a visual, but I'm hoping they save some babies down there and they're taking care of them, but time will tell, obviously. But can't wait till we get a batch going of those guys. Down here, we have a whole bunch of different fish. We have our jewel cichlids in here. We only got about 10, 15 left. We had, gosh, over 100 of these guys, but we sold most of them, so about 10 to 12 left. And then in this tank right here, these are the baby Carbensis. So the pair of Carbensis that was in that 40, they had a ton of babies. They were great parents, but just maybe last week they started munching on their babies, so I had to take all the babies out and I put them in here. I only caught maybe about 10 to 12 of them, so we didn't get all of them. There was a swarm of like 50, but they ate a lot of them before I can get some of them out. So we got about, I don't know, 12 or so in here. We also have some Norman lampi killies, and look at their eyes, guys. You can see their eyes from across the room. Their eyes are gigantic and they glow blue. Really cool fish. Gonna have to get them their own tank. So I'm currently shuffling things around because as these Carbensis get a little bit bigger, they're probably gonna be a little bit too aggressive for those killifish up there, potentially. And then in our next tank, we have a pair of German blue rams. Here's the male. Here's the female. Just a very basic setup. I have a spawning area right there and right here that they can choose and lay eggs. They have not spawned for me yet, but they continue to pick at this rock here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to really power feed some live food and frozen food. I ran out, so I'm in the process of getting more. Hopefully this week we'll have some frozen food and live food for them that I can make, and that will induce spawning, I'm hoping. In this other tank, we have, I would say, a failed attempt at keeping lemias. These are the glitter lemias. This is a male. Only have 2 males left. As you can see, it's going to be hard to get a really good focus, but they're a beautiful oddball live-bearing fish. Now, the males have killed all the females. They harassed them. They're not an aggressive fish. I think I just need to have them in a much bigger setup. So that's something that I learned. Although these are smaller fish, I think they need to be in at least a 20 gallon because the males can be very rambunctious and stress out the females. Here's a male here. Look how beautiful he is. And there's another one back there. These are gonna be some of the misfits. So if you go on my website, you see I have like, I think it's like $2 for mystery misfits. So I sell misfits. Those are the fish that maybe are deformed, or maybe I'm just moving out. So in this case, these fish only got 2 left and they're only males. So they'll be sold in the mystery misfits for just a couple dollars. So if you're interested in them, you can purchase them and request them through the mystery misfit option. But really cool fish. I'm sad it didn't work out, but I don't think I'm gonna buy more at this point in time. Down here at the very bottom, we have our quarantine rack. In this one, we have some Praecox rainbows. These are like your dwarf rainbows. These are looking amazing. Look how active they are. Look how friendly they are. They're a really beautiful fish, and they don't get huge like some of the other rainbows. right? So they may just get a tiny bit bigger than what they are now, and that's about it. So these are the Praecox Rainbow, super cool. They'll be available on the website probably at the end of this week, beginning of next week, because they're looking really good. And here I have some female fancy guppies that are in quarantine. Again, at the end of this week, they'll be out. And then I have some male fancy guppies. They're hanging out in this tank, all different kinds. They'll be out of quarantine at the end of this week. And then I have a mangrove killifish hiding in this one. Just one single fish in here. I can't see him. He normally hides right next to that rock and that sponge filter. I don't see him. Oh, wait, he's right here. He's right up front, guys. Oh, look at this guy. This is a mangrove killifish. I got him from someone who keeps a lot of oddball fish at my local club auction. And this is just a unique fish. I've never heard of them. I haven't seen them. It's hard to get a focus on the camera here. But a really cool fish. And I'm going to move them to a proper setup probably in another week. Now, if we turn around, this is our third rack back here. This one has most of our smaller fish in here. I only keep fish that are maybe about 4 inches or less. I don't keep anything big. But if we look up here, this one used to have a bunch of different endlers that I was breeding, but I've sold, gosh, probably hundreds of them so far. And I'm gonna go with another strain of guppies in here soon. But I still have a couple of super red placos back there, some juveniles. But that's kind of what's in this tank here. And to the left, we have red rilly shrimp. You can see some babies down here chowing. Here's a mama shrimp. That's a male from the looks of it. Some more shrimp grazing on the sides here. And in addition to shrimp, also have scuds in here. I have moina in here. I used to have blackworms in here, but I think they slowly died off or got picked off. But the other thing I put in here, and let's see if we can find one, are the baby rice. Oh, there's one all the way at the top. Little baby rice fish, if you can see them up there. There's probably about, oh, there's another one. There's probably about 6 or 7 baby rice fish. So I'm trying to breed my rice fish that are outside in the mini pond. Normally the eggs I put in here. I just take out the mop that's in that mini pond, put it in this mini pond. Once I see them swimming around, I net them out. And then I put them in my shrimp tank for them to get some size. Once they get some size on them, then I catch them and I put them back in the mini pond. So it's kind of just a little loop, right? They start off in the mini pond, they come into this one, and then they go to this one, and then they go back to the mini pond. Fairly good system from what I've been doing so far. In this tank right here, we have the Gardneri killifish. So I probably have about, I sold a good bit of the babies, so I probably have about 10 babies left. You can see that they're all babies, all juveniles. They get about this big. And if you guys haven't seen what a Gardneri killifish looks like, go ahead and Google it. They are absolutely gorgeous. A really good looking fish. Now, I sold the pair already. I bred these myself and I'm raising them now, but I sold the pair, the parents. So I can't show you the parents, but you guys gotta trust me. They're a really good looking fish. In this tank right here, we have one baby gold ram that I'm raising up, but they're in here with a ton of least killifish. These are the smallest live-bearing fish in North America. So they're really tiny. They're not the smallest fish in the world, so there are plenty of fish that get smaller, but these ones are pretty tiny. And they're a live-bearing fish. So this is another oddball live bearer that's really fun to watch and really easy to reproduce. They've already had babies. If we look down here, the babies like to hang out down here. Oh, there's one right there. You see that little guy? That little fella is a baby least killifish, and he's so tiny. And so if you're looking at my tanks, I don't gravel vac all the muck. And it's mainly because, well, some of the babies like hiding in there so they don't get eaten. And there's a lot of good food down there. Now, I don't believe in keeping mulm and letting it build up, but a little bit of mulm is good. Too much mulm, not good. So you just gotta find a good happy balance that works for you. In this tank down here, this is a cherry shrimp tank. You can see a few of the cherries down here. I breed and sell these guys, and I love shrimp. Neocaridina, I really enjoy these shrimp. They're just great cleaners. They're fun to watch, and they're, you know, they're not too expensive, and they're super easy to breed. Get you like 8 to 10 of them, put them in really any tank where they're not going to be eaten on. I got the red lilies up here, the cherries down here, and in no time you're going to have a bazillion of them. Give it just a couple months and you'll have a ton of them. But in this tank down here, we actually have a good bit of betas. I think we have like 6 female betas in here. Here's one beta, here's another beta fish. Oh, here's another beta fish up here, if it'll focus. And there's a few other betas in here as well. I think we have 6 or 7 in total. And then we also have a ton of baby bristlenose plecos. We have one here. We have another one. There's a lot of glare, but he's right around this corner. But just a very basic setup where these guys hang out in this tank here. Right below it, we have not much going on in this tank. Right now it's just a holding tank, but I do have 2 male German blue rams. So here's one of them, absolutely gorgeous, fully mature. I need to get some female rams for them to spawn with. And then right next to him I have a bristlenose pleco. He's about mid-size, he almost full grown. And then we got a couple guppies in here as dither fish. And that's all we have kind of going on in this tank. I really need to reset it and have this to be a proper breeding setup. But I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And then in this tank, this is a 5-gallon rimless tank. And I have my orange shrimp. You can see one of them kind of back there. But I have orange neocaridinas in this tank. Hopefully I can breed a bazillion of them and start offering that on my website soon. And then, you know, some of the more boring stuff. So we look over here to the right. These are some of my buckets that I use, some of the bleach dips that I use for cleaning nets to make sure I don't cross-contaminate anything. And this is where a lot of my food and meds go. So you can see I have a lot of different flakes and pellet foods and algae wafers. And I even have this stuff, Bacter AE. It's wonderful for shrimp, especially baby shrimp. It's even good for fry, baby fish. But a ton of different foods that I have in here for my fish to eat. And then I have a giant bucket of flakes too. And then over here I have all of my meds. You know, I have ick, I have methylene blue, I got a ton of Paragard. Just all kinds of stuff, just in case, you know, just in case you need it. You never know what you need. And so it's nice just to kind of have it on hand. So if something does happen, boom, I can go ahead and get it and we're all good. Some more of the boring stuff over here. Let me go ahead and turn this light on. The other thing about the fish room is that it is almost, a lot of it is automated. I don't have automated water changes. And I don't know if I'm quite big enough to where that matters, but I do have everything controlled by this smart app here as far as electricity. So if I turn on the workshop light, boom, we have light now from this little light up here. But this is a new addition that makes water changes so much easier. So if you don't have a water source in your fish room, get one. I had a plumber come out and add this, I guess, bib or hose outlet, whatever you want to call it, here just right before it goes to the water heater here. But this makes it so easy. I attach this 50-foot spring type hose to it, so that way I can easily refill my tanks easily. And then as you pull it and then come back, it like recoils back in, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. Now I'm about to nerd out about this style of hose head. What do we want to call this? I don't know, hose handle, the gun. But you got some that you squeeze. Those ones I think break down a lot easier. The ones like this, where just a ball point in the middle is being moved, these ones are almost indestructible. So I like this style, the switch style, much better than the trigger style when it comes to the gun here, of the spray gun. I just think it's more reliable and it lasts a lot longer. Enough about that. I don't know if you guys care about that, but I thought it was I really like that addition. And then right here, this is where I do all of my packing. So when you guys do make an order on my website, I catch the fish, I put them in one of these buckets here, right? And then I net them and put them in a bag. So I got all types of fish bags in here. I got big ones, I got small ones. I probably got a few hundred bags in here. And then I have all my heat packs in here. So I got 40-hour heat packs, I got 96-hour heat packs, I got 10-hour heat packs. Everything you need to ship fish is right here. This is my heat sealer. So it makes it really easy to heat seal the bag to make sure that it is watertight and it's not going to leak. And then I also have polyfilter. Now polyfilter is amazing and I think it's a must-have whenever you're shipping fish. So it helps remove ammonia, heavy metals, any medication that's in the water, harmful organics. So all I do to help make sure the ammonia isn't as toxic whenever I'm shipping fish is I cut just a small little square of this and I put it inside the bag in the water with the fish. And that way, as the fish poops and excretes, waste, what'll happen is that polyfilter will help make sure that the ammonia isn't as toxic to the fish while they're in transit. So pretty cool little addition there. Then I have all my boxes up here. This is what I ship my boxes out of. This is some of the filler paper, tons of filler paper, just to make sure the fish don't get shaken around. And then all the way over here, I forgot to show you this. This is where I keep all of the foam panels. So this is how I insulate the box. I use each of these to line every side of the box, top and bottom, so that the heat or cool stays consistent in the box, right? So I got a couple boxes here full that I gotta use. Here we have a 40-gallon, and we have a ton of platies, just an assortment of platies, Mickey Mouse platies. We got some of the sunrise platies, all kinds of different platies. Oh, and talking about Gardner killifish, this is one of the Gardneri right here. This is actually an older juvenile that's already started to color up. You can see it's a male because, oh, it's absolutely stunning. You can see I also put in my guppy. This is a large female guppy. She's like 3 years old, I feel like. Maybe not 3, maybe 2. But she's old. She got bent spine. I don't have it in me to, I guess, cull her. I don't want to kill her, so I put her in here. As she has babies, it's food for all of these guys here. Because I don't want to create more fish with bent spines. But at the same time, I don't want to just murder that poor thing either. But an assortment of fish in here. We got the platies, we got Corydoras, we got a pistogramma, we got a Gardner killi. Oh, and I think we have one happy cichlid left. I thought I sold all of these guys, but it looks like we have one left. Look at this little guy. I think I'm going to keep him for myself because they're just so cute. And then down here, I explained, this is kind of where I put all my killifish eggs. And then once they hatch, I see them swimming around. I don't think we have anything in here now because I just caught everything yesterday. But we'll do a quick look just to see if I missed any. But no, I don't see any at the moment. But it's just a no filter, easy way to hatch eggs, and then you scoop them out and put them in another tank to grow out. Let me talk about this over here real quick. So I didn't cover this thing. So this is some of the more boring part of a fish room, but for those of you who have one and want to know how things are organized. So I have a lot of my airline tubing and connectors that go in these different boxes. And then down here I have a lot of extra parts. I have like 3 different lights. I have another extra filter just in case one of my filtrations, one of my air pump dies. I got another one just ready to go. I got a lot of different jars and bottles. Normally I use this to feed different types of food normally. And then down here I got a ton of different hardscape, I guess, material. I got gravel, I have sand, I have crushed coral right there. I have some cool sand that I'm making there. And I have some snail shells, just an assortment of stuff that I can use in my fish room in all different scenarios. And then over here, what I didn't show you, this is actually, it's actually a mess, but this is my hardscape dojo, actually. So what I can do in here right now is just holding rocks, but there's a layer of sand in here and then a ton of different rocks. And whenever I'm doing an aquascape, I can kind of map out what I want the hardscape and play around with the hardscape right here before I pull the trigger, so I know if it's something I like or not. We got a good bit of Soreyu stone here, as you can see. All of this is Soreyu stone, mainly because it's my favorite type of aquascaping stone. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up today's fish tour. I do have a few tanks inside, but that's gonna be for another day. I hope you enjoyed this tour, and until next time guys, see ya.